Happy day 613 of What You Up To Now, take 2. I normally don't do a second take on my videos, but after this morning, I feel like I personally need a do-over, a start over on my day. I stopped my last video because my beautiful granddaughter was having a sleepover, and she's 4, and she goes to day school just for a few hours in the morning, and then she comes back and spends the day with me. So yesterday she decided she wanted a sleepover. So we had a sleepover, and she woke up in the middle of my last video and of course was crying and wanted to have attention and wanted to get up and watch a movie and get ready. And it reminded me of the importance of morning routines, not just for us as adults, but for children as well. We deviated from her normal morning routine this morning, and it was like pulling teeth to get her dressed and ready to go and out the door today, only because we did things in different order than we normally do. And that was a huge lesson learned and a reminder for me to not only stick to my own morning routine, but to keep her on a schedule and on a morning routine so she knows what's expected as well. Because by watching a movie before she got dressed and had breakfast and brushed her teeth and fixed her hair and got ready to go, she got the reward first before she did the work. Because it's work for a 4-year-old to eat breakfast, brush her teeth, get her hair fixed, and get dressed and get ready for school and get, her little bag ready and her boots and her coat and everything laid out and ready to go. So when her daddy picks her up, she's ready to go. And by watching the movie first, it was a huge mistake on my part. I did it because she was a little sad when she woke up. I mean, she's happy when she wakes up, but she was like, I want this, I want that. And I learned that, yep, we all want things, but if we deviate and we reward ourselves first, it's really, really hard to go back then and do the work. So from now on, get ready, then get the reward. Get ready, then watch the movie. Get ready, then watch the show or do whatever, but not until we're 100% ready to go, everything's ready and out the door, so Dad comes, we go, we're back, fun. I think we're going to do a little more structure to our afternoons as well, just not only for her peace of mind and routine, but for my own. So we've got a little bit more structure going on in the afternoons. So back to what you up to now. Did day 6 today of the BP challenge, which is for me personally blood pressure, because I want to get my blood pressure down over the next 90 days. For other people, it's a health or a lifestyle challenge. Here's the trick with challenges. I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of them and led groups through all different types of challenges. At this point, I've come to the conclusion that all challenges of various lengths are pretty much the same. They have the same foundational steps. It's the same 5 steps to get anything we want on the planet, right? It's just some people add a bunch of steps to break down the 5 steps into more steps. And I don't really know very many people that have simplified it beyond, hey, there's these 5 things you need to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 to be successful or to get anything you want. My definition of success is getting whatever you want. Having what you want and being satisfied and happy with that is success. That's my definition. Changes a little bit over time, but for the most part, that's it. Success used to have different definitions to me, but it was always, I wanted a feeling of a certain thing. It's usually the feeling of satisfaction and, really being happy and content with what and the way things are right now. That is how I define success and satisfaction as success. So today was top 10 things that make you feel awesome. Top 10 things, and it might be something that you do, it might be something that you experience, it might be something that you read or see or whatever, but just brainstorm a list and write it down of the top 10 things that make you feel awesome. I had things like hugs, bubble baths, anything out in nature, walking in nature, seeing beautiful things. Things like that are always on my top 10 list. So that was the challenge for today. Now, does that seem really hard or challenging? No. But guess what? I bet 98% of this population has never sat down and written down the top 10 things that make them feel good or awesome. Yep, we all have them in our head. We all know them when we see them. We all have them in our head, but it's not the same thing. There's an extremely powerful connection between writing things down and getting them out of our head, writing them down and creating them in our life and having the opportunity to experience them more often in our life. There's tons and tons of scientific studies on that with respect to goals and achieving anything or getting anything that you want. Just write it down. Nobody has to see it, but write it down so that you can see it. And you don't even have to look at it. Just write it down the one time, and it has a multiplying effect versus just keeping it in your head. Because guess what? Everything's in our head. Everything we've ever experienced is all stored in there somewhere. And so when you really want to retrieve something, how easy is it to retrieve? Not very easy sometimes, at least not for some of us. So, blood pressure challenge day 6, 90-day challenge, coming up on, and I actually originally called this preparation, but then I got waylaid with the 4-year-old, and so I went from preparation to, hey, follow your morning routine, write stuff down, do what you know is good for you, things like that. So preparation, because I'm going to be traveling for 3 weeks coming up here at the end of the month. Well, actually, toward the middle of the month and through the end of the month and the first week of November. And in order to do that, I have to have some things in place and prepared and done and scheduled ahead of time, because I'm not going to have internet for at least 7 days of that, probably 8 days of that. And I don't remember the last time I was without internet, but it was very painful. I do remember that. So as you're moving from the offline to the online world, that's one thing you discover. You're a lot more flexible and you have a lot more freedom, but you're also very dependent on your ability to access the internet. I like to say access the World Wide Web, but everybody says it ages me. Like, I'm not, I'm almost 60, so I don't have a problem with that. I remember when there was no internet. Actually, the majority of my life, there has been no internet. So once you get attached to it, you want to always have a way to hook into it and tap into the internet and the power of the World Wide Web. So working on preparing and planning for that and getting those in place. I need to actually start doing that content probably this week if I'm going to get it done and ready to go, because there's a lot of it. I do a lot of content. So in, let's say, an 8-day period, 4 times 8, yeah, that's a lot, 32. I need to have at least 32 videos done ahead of time, prepared and scheduled to go for that period of time while I'm out of communication. And I know that it's going to be work, but I want to have it done so that when I'm unplugged, I can actually feel happy and content and satisfied being unplugged, instead of like in the past when I would go on vacation from corporate America or one of my businesses. I would be on vacation, but I would always be connected and stressed out and worrying about what was going on back home. Even though I had tons of systems and processes and procedures in place, I still always had it nagging at me at the back of my mind. And I want to actually go on the cruise part of this vacation and know that everything's taken care of. I don't have to worry about a thing. So I'll make sure my granddaughter's taken care of. I'll make sure the kids are all set. I'll make sure the animals and everything are taken care of. I'll make sure that, you know, my house, the old house, is taken care of, and that's moving forward in that project. That, you know, where I temporarily am, that nothing to do here. A couple of plants, they'll probably die anyway because I kill them every winter. So don't have to do much to prepare for that. What else is going on? Got a couple of coaching students who are in the middle of some big launches and projects, which are always really, really fun. I think they're really fun. They stress them out, but I just get the fun part of coaching them along the way. Otherwise, taking it kind of easy as I'm preparing for and getting ready for these vacations and trips. Garage sales over, yay! I hate garage sales. I think I mentioned that. I just would rather give my stuff away. It's so much, feels better. It's got a better energy around it to gift people with your belongings that you're no longer using and let them be blessings in their life than it does to try to get a dime and a quarter for stuff that you paid, you know, hundreds of dollars for. It just seems silly to me. It doesn't have the right energy around it to me. It's not an exchange of value. And so since it's not an equitable or good exchange of value, it's a great value for the people to get the stuff, but it doesn't feel like a good value for the people selling it. So to me, I just think it's a messed up technology or a mixed up, you know, process or mechanism. It's kind of like when you're in competition with other people in your industry and you're all racing to the bottom to be the cheapest. It feels a lot like that. You know that you're providing your products and services for way too low a price, and they're being undervalued by the customers and by the competition that's competing to get, you know, down to the lowest price. That never feels good. It never feels right, because it's not. If it feels bad, it's not right for you. So I think that's where my feelings about garage sales come from. Now, I love to go find a bargain too, but I always feel like, geez, people, they must have paid a fortune for this. Why would I want to do that? Now, I've only ever been to probably 5 garage sales in my whole life, so who am I to say that? But I did used to like auctions. I thought auctions were fun because at least there was a little bit of competition to get the price more toward what it kind of should be. Although again, a whole level of expectations come with auctions, same as couponing and things like that. It's just not markets I play in. And guess what? I, like anybody else, loves to get a good deal, but I also want to make sure that the person I'm getting it from is winning and getting a decent deal too. It's not fair. You know, it's got to be win-win-win for everybody in the chain, or it doesn't work. It doesn't work long term anyway. And I'm all about long-term sustainable profits and, you know, adding to the world for everybody, not just for me or for a couple of people. It should be everybody has the opportunity to provide value and get paid, you know, a decent value in return. Now, I'm not talking about minimum wage. Please don't even get me started down that road and about that nonsense. We're not entitled to anything. We're entitled to what we go out and work for. We're entitled to decide what we want and how we want to live our lives, but we're not entitled to expect anybody to take care of us and do things for us because we're whatever. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to sign off and go process my videos while the little one's at school. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below or direct message me. Easy to find for Jamma Grandma or Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Grandma is, of course, spelled wrong, G-R-A-M-M-A, which I say is a good, proper spelling of grandma. But that's it. Have a fun day and an awesome day. It's Awesome Monday. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for letting me have a do-over. Mulligan.